SoCal Filipinos and Bahaghari celebrates Pride Month. Today's guest is Carla Ibarra. Please welcome SoCal Filipinos founder, Jason Lucena.
Hello, SoCal Filipinos. Hello, Bahaghari. This is Jason Lucena, your founder. Happy Pride Month to all of you out there. Really excited for today's interview. But before we get into our special guest, who I am so excited to talk to, have a little kiki. Just a couple announcements from SoCal Filipinos and Bahaghari. We have several events happening this weekend. This Sunday, Kabataan Cultural Anniversary and Philippine Independence Fiesta on Sunday, June 4th, starting at 11 a.m. Sorry, I was mumbling there. At the Bellflower Exchange, Storytime, Arts and Crafts, and the first 100 children who go to the event will receive a free drawstring backpack. So make sure you check that out. Then later that evening, same date, Sunday at 7 p.m. at Redline Bar in downtown LA. Join your fellow members, SoCal Filipinos and Bahaghari, for an all-Filipino drag queen cast. And they're going to do numbers in Tagalog. Admission is free, so come join in on the fun. And lastly, our last announcement, SoCal Filipinos is turning 2. Can you believe it? 2 years old. I think we're at like 65,000 members. This is a thank you to you and the community. We just want to thank you for being a part of SoCal Filipinos, and we just want you to enjoy, kick back, meet your fellow members, have some food. We'll have some entertainment. We'll be announcing the entertainment shortly in the group, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But without further ado, we have our special guest. I'm proud to call her my friend. She is a transgender advocate, as well as one of my admins, our admins for Bahaghari. We have Carla Ibarra, so please welcome Carla. Hey, Carla, how are you?
Hi, Jason. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Well, if you're watching in Manila, I think it's good morning. Mabuhay, Filipinas. Thank you for having me, Jason.
No, thank you. I mean, it's so funny because like a year ago, you were here when we celebrated Pride Month in our very first Pride Month panel. Today, we're going solo and just digging in on the tea with just you.
Yes, I know. I still remember that, to be honest. I still remember the shirt I was wearing. I still remember the panel. Yeah, so let me just say now, too, that if it wasn't for SoCal Filipinos, I wouldn't be where I am today, which we'll be talking more about later. But definitely being a part of SoCal Filipinos, Bahaghari, especially like having the platform, really opened doors for me. It's just wonderful. So thank you.
No, obviously, I think it's all you. I mean, I call you a powerhouse. You are a change maker. You are being a leader in not just the Filipino community, but also for the LGBTQIA plus community, especially the transgender female community. So you are doing so many things, and I am just so proud of you. Just to watch what you've done over the past year has been amazing. But let's go ahead and talk about that. So you've had so many things that happened within the past year, right? I know that you were you did a little video for World Kindness Day with the famous Lady Gaga. You were a participant. Tell us a little bit about that video and what that video is about.
Yeah, so essentially that one is a short documentary in partnership with the Born This Way Foundation and Facebook and Instagram. So essentially their goal is to showcase, I believe, 9 advocates from all over the US. And I was privileged to be selected and be a part of it. So we had a one-on-one talk with Lady Gaga. I was able to, to meet her. I was able to know her a little better, and to engage her in a small talk and ask questions that not everyone gets to ask. Things like that. It was. I still haven't processed it. Like you've said, like there's a lot that has happened just in the last year, and to be honest, I'm still like I still can't believe all of this is happening. It's surreal.
So
Um,
how did
yeah.
you get involved? How did you get involved with the video? Like, did they reach out to you, or were you scouted? Like, how did that
Um,
happen? What was that process?
so what happened was I was still working for the nonprofit. I was a workforce development program manager for one of the largest transgender health programs here in the West Coast. And during the time, I was already active with, our advocacy and activism for the trans community. And then my boss, I remember, oh, Jackie's there. So I remember my boss was like, there was an opportunity for a documentary to talk about mental health and their journeys with kindness and how they came to be today as the advocates that we are. There's no mention of Lady Gaga. There's no mention that it's going to be this big. And, like with me, and me, like, if there's like an invitation, I would do it. Like I love getting involved. I like, whenever given the chance, I love to center the experiences of brown, black, Filipino, I mean, trans community. So this is like that opportunity. So I applied. I believe they mentioned that there were thousands of applicants to be a part of like the conversation, and they just reached out and they told us, hey, like show up like for the filming date, this and that, be yourself, just wear a t-shirt, wear something comfortable. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna show up. Little did I know that Lady Gaga will be there. She just walked in. No announcement, no anything. Yeah, so that's how it happened.
Oh my gosh, we're just showing onto the side, this side, a little bit of the clip you can see.
Yeah.
So you actually got to meet Lady Gaga. Like, how was that experience? Like talking to her, and what was her demeanor like at the shoot?
You know, we have this notion of like, how celebrities can be, how, oh, they don't really mean it or it's not really genuine. But Lady Gaga, for whatever reason, she made me personally feel seen and heard. Off cam, she was crying. She was offering food and water. And, it's just, hello. Oh, we have a lot of like viewers. Hello, everyone. Please share this. Please share it with your friends and family.
So
Yeah,
she's
so
very like down to earth. Like she was very welcoming.
very, very humble. And I even asked her like, do you ever like ride Uber and stuff like that? And she said, yeah. She told me that there's this one occasion she was here in Los Angeles because I think she lives in New York. When she took an Uber, and the Uber driver said, "Hey, you look like Lady Gaga." And then she said, "Oh yeah, I get that a lot." Yeah.
A lot of the work that you're doing is really like, with the Lady Gaga, and we're going to talk about the other work that you're doing that you did with MTV that brought you to the White House. But a lot of the work that you're doing is really about mental health. Like, why mental health?
To me, mental health and its intersectionality, with being a trans woman and more importantly, being a Filipino immigrant here in the US. Why mental health? Aside from the advocacy part of it, because it's personal to me. It's a matter of, of personal things for me. Growing up as a trans kid back in the Philippines, I grew up in a very conservative household. And I think a lot of our LGBTQIA plus Filipinos watching today would relate to that experience. So it wasn't an easy feat for me, neither. I struggled with, with self love, with Um, with I had a very bad relationship with my body because I was dysmorphic. I didn't like the body that I was in. I felt like I would need to constantly validate my difference to other people so that they accept my transness. Even as a kid, even though like I had no words back then about what I'm going through with my gender identity, I already knew that I had to do extra work so that people would accept me in spaces. So that was my scapegoat. And it took a toll on my mental health. So now being in this position of privilege where I have the access, I have the platform, I have the voice, I have the platform, to speak on these experiences that I had to go through. My goal now is to not have any young trans young trans kid to go through the same struggles that I had to go through just for me to be called, a successful person or a thriving person, like no one has to go through those kinds of struggles as a kid more so.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm sure that your story is going to relate, or somebody like younger will look up. I mean, I'm sure they are now. It's like looking up to you, especially with the work that you're doing, especially for the transgender community. And I know after that, you were recently appointed. Now you're in city government to the City of Los Angeles Transgender Advisory Council. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so this one, there's actually an application process too. So it's not like we were handpicked. But I know that, like, I have friends who served from the council before. Shout out, attorney Carmen Hinayon. She's also a trans Filipina. She's now based in San Francisco. Yeah, so she mentioned about it before, and I'm like, oh, I'm interested, so that we have the proper platform, and we can bring our issues and advocacies and like recommendations on how we can better the trans community here in LA. So I applied. It was a pretty rigorous like application process. It took like around 2 months, and I think you were the first. You were the first people that you were one of those people that I told about it. I don't know if you remember, like, hey, I think I got it, I feel it in my gut. Yeah, so that was the process, and it's nice. It's a 2-year term with the Transgender Advisory Council. So it's fun, like I get to serve with 8 other council members to advise the mayor and elected officials on the key issues that affect the trans community here in LA.
Yeah. So, like, as being part of the council, what are you hoping to accomplish?
With me, again and again, I'm all about representation, because I feel like people like me, especially like a Filipino immigrant whose language is not really primarily English, like Filipino is my native language, so having to represent those people who look and speak like me, I think is a big thing. And more so like in the political scene here in LA, I think it's, like my friend said, like it opens door for other people. So that's the goal, like to hold the space for up and coming Filipino youth and advocates, in spaces, whether trans or not. So I think we're doing that. We're giving justice to the representation. I talk about like the experiences whenever I can. And I hope like people are appreciating it.
No, I'm sure they do, especially the work for the transgender community. Unfortunately, like it's really underrepresented. There's a lot of negativity that's towards that community. I know there's a lot of work that still needs to be done to quote unquote normalize the transgender community. Yeah. I don't know if that's proper to even say that, but like just to even say that.
Yeah, and to me, Jason, to be honest, as someone who grew up like with very limited means, I know what it is to not have people to listen to me. I know what it is to not be seen. I know what it is to have nothing. And that's why me joining the council is to represent the voiceless, for those who still don't have the voice or still trying to find their place in the world. That's why I always like tell people, like, hey, like whenever you need to talk to someone, like I'm always here. Yeah, that's a big thing. Bayanihan, as we say it in Filipino.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw the comment that from Giuseppe. Galing mag-English, Tagalog or Bisaya nga sample.
Makasabot ko. Makasabot ko Bisaya. Nakakaintindi ako ng Bisaya and Filipino, and then English.
Well, for our audience that are just joining us, thank you so much for joining us. We're having a special episode just for Pride Month, and we are featuring our very own admin for Bahaghari, Carla Ibarra. For those of you who don't know, SoCal Filipinos does have a group that is focused on the LGBTQIA plus community. It is a private group for the safety of the members, because we like to keep it a safe space for them. So if you'd like to join, just look up Bahaghari LGBTQIA plus community of SoCal Filipinos. So I've asked you some hard questions. Let's have some fun. Let's play a little game. You down for a game?
I am down. I'm ready.
You're always down. So I like to play this or that with some of our guests. So you just pick one if you want to say why. We'll start off with something easy. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Oh. And we're friends. I like dogs. I have 2.
I love cats. I have 4 at the
Oh my
moment.
gosh. Chips or cookies?
Chips.
And audience, if you want to play along, feel
Specifically
free.
the jalapeno chips. The
Jalapeno.
jalapeno things. Yeah, I love that.
Call or text?
Text. Oh my
Text.
gosh. Yeah, I get really anxious when people just call me out of nowhere. I feel like it's always an emergency. So for my friends, especially, Jason knows this. Before calling, text me first, like what it is about, because like I'm really like I get anxious.
Wealth or knowledge?
Knowledge. I think this is my entire life story. From rugs to riches, as they say it. But no, I'm not rich. But like with knowledge comes power, and with that comes like wealth, whether be it financially or socially. But yeah, knowledge any day, anytime.
Thank you for that answer, Miss Universe Philippines. Dress up or dress down?
Dress down. Ooh,
Mhm.
I'm a lover of just t-shirts and jeans and sneakers. Dress down.
East Coast or West Coast?
West Coast all the way. We're going to be talking about this, but DC is so humid.
No
Not
shade,
fun.
because our friend Tita Che lives in DC.
I know. Tita Che, hello.
How about spam or tocino?
Tocino. Tocino all the way, yes. I just ordered like several bags of it online. So it just got delivered yesterday.
Do you dip your tocino in vinegar and eat it with rice?
Yes. With
that's what I do.
garlic.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do the spice.
Yes. Or the pinakurat. It's
Yeah.
an Ilocano thing, I think. Yes, I love that.
I don't know if that's.
Me and my husband loves that. We love it.
What about pandesal or ensamada?
Pandesal. Especially how, in the Philippines, every morning, my mom will send me to the bakery. And every time it smells fresh. So like the scent, the smell of like the fresh pandesal in the morning, like just takes me back home. So pandesal all the way.
And then you could make your own like sandwich, breakfast sandwich. Just put tocino inside
We
the
eat it
pandesal.
with hot dogs, with eggs. Delicious. My mouth is
getting
watering
hungry.
right now.
Getting hungry. Pancit or lumpia?
Can I say both? I feel like I love eating them both together.
Well, I love like what type of pancit do you like? I love like palabok and malabon.
I love pancit canton
Mm-hmm.
and palabok, yes. And then we have what we call pancit bato. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not particularly sure which province is that, but pancit bato is this, I think Bicol, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like
for my Filipinos here, please correct me if I'm wrong. Pancit bato is from Bicol,
like
and
bato, like rock.
yeah, pancit bato like rock, but it's not really made from rocks. It's just how they call it. I think. Um, I believe it's also like some kind of egg noodles. Oh, girl, you gotta try that. That's
Okay.
one of like the bestest pancit ever.
Well, we need to find somebody who could make that for us and have a
So
taste.
for our viewers, any of you who know how to cook pancit bato, please reach out to us.
Island life or city life?
City life.
City
I
life.
grew up in the city. I grew up in Manila. So like going here to LA, it's not really like a difficult thing like to adjust for. It's just like, all the time you got to speak English. Not complaining though.
All right. So what last one? Daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime.
You're a night
So
owl.
yeah, I'm currently in grad school. For those of you who didn't know, I'm currently in grad school. Whenever I study, I'm actually sharper at night.
Mhm.
And in the morning, I just cannot function even for work. So I had to like at least have like 3 cups of coffee or like a big meal for me to like jumpstart the day. So I'm a night person.
Yeah, I do a lot of my best work at night. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Like I'm usually up
same,
till like 2. So, but thanks for
same.
playing. There's no prize,
Yeah.
but people got to know you a little bit better. So for those of you, who are just joining us, this is SoCal Filipinos Presents. We are celebrating Pride Month with our special guest, Carla Ibarra, who is our admin for Bahaghari, but we talked about her journey with going to meet like Lady Gaga. Now she's part of the LA Transgender Council. Now let's talk about you recently went to DC. So I know that was in conjunction with MTV. So talk to us how that all came about.
Okay, so after Lady Gaga, a few months, no, actually, a couple months after Lady Gaga, I got this email out of nowhere about, oh, there's going to be a forum on mental health. And like I've mentioned earlier, whenever given the chance to center the lived experiences of Black, Brown, LGBTQIA plus community, specifically, Filipino trans women, trans people, um, I grab it. So I applied. They didn't mention anything about it like being a media event or at the White House. They were just talking about, oh, there's gonna be a forum, and oh, I would love that. Those are my kind of things.
Mhm.
So I sent them an application talking about our advocacies, our involvement, things like that. And then I think a couple months later, around March, I received this email, like big thing, like MTV, first ever MTV Mental Health Youth Action Forum in partnership with the Biden Harris administration. I'm like, girl, don't tell me we're gonna go to the White House. I'm telling myself, I'm like, this can't be real. And then I checked it, I Googled it, it's everywhere. It started blowing up like my face. Like if you Google it, like Carla Ibarra MTV, like you will see
Uh-huh.
like the websites where we were featured. So I was featured in Forbes, in Vanity, People. It's just woo. So that's the experience. So MTV Mental Health Youth Action Forum is essentially a 2-day forum held at the White House, um, gathering 30 mental health advocates across the country to talk about our experiences with our mental health advocacy, and to hopefully work side by side with corporate partners and um, the Biden administration to help transform the actions from mental health awareness into actual action, through storytelling and media.
Mhm.
So I was closely working with four other people on a specific project. We presented it to them and the president, and they loved it. Here's the picture of when President Biden himself grabbed my phone to take a selfie with me. I told him, Mr. President, I only have one favor. He said, "What is that, Carla?" First name basis, girl. That's what we do. That's how we roll now. Um, I told him, "Mr. President, can we take a selfie?" And they said, "Yeah, come here, give me your phone." And then here we are, the picture. Yeah, and
So,
that is me with the Surgeon General, with
mhm.
Selena Gomez, and the First Lady, Dr. Joe Biden herself.
So when you got there, was it like jam packed? Was it like just like
Oh, girl, like I was treated like a VIP. Girl, like from the time before I arrived, they gave me money to make sure that we have money for in case we get lost, like
yeah?
emergency or anything. um yeah, like they ask us, "Oh, do you have any preferred seating in the plane, hotels?" So when I got there, I was nervous because I didn't know what to expect.
Mhm.
All I know is that, oh my gosh, I'm going to be at the White House in a few days. I arrived there on a Saturday. The White House event was on Wednesday, so I had a good amount of time to process things, but that wasn't enough for me, to be honest. I was like, the whole time I was just like, wow, wow, like I've been to DC before, but this is different. It's something
Mhm.
official, like an hour of the time of the United States president, just to only listen to what we have to say. um yeah, it was it was surreal.
Yeah.
So
Well,
the whole time.
I wanted to ask you, like, as an immigrant, as a transgender woman, what was it like? What was that feeling when you stepped into the White House? Like you're with the president and the first lady.
You know, I think there's one thing too that I want to bring up too, that I think I didn't talk about this before. I was once undocumented too.
Mhm.
So I want to share this story, to also hold the space for a lot of like Filipino, undocumented Filipino immigrants here who are doing hard work
Mhm.
to help their families back home. Being a former undocumented immigrant and a transgender woman, it means everything, Jason. To be walking in the halls of the people's house, like you don't get that every day. Even in a lifetime, only few people get to have that kind of privilege.
Mhm.
But with me, to be honest with you, the exact feeling I was feeling that day, I was numb. Like I wasn't feeling anything because I haven't processed it. But
Mhm.
let me tell you, as soon as the White House event finished, so we went back to our hotel rooms. I had to stay another day or two, to be meeting with partners, funders, stuff like that. I was crying the whole night. I was
Wow.
crying because I was so overwhelmed. I didn't call anyone. I didn't, even my husband, I didn't text him or anything. I was just crying and crying, like all of this, like, and I'm getting like teary eyed right now. Like it's just coming to me like it's a full circle, like from the life of uncertainty, not knowing what to do when I arrived here, trying to find my place, in LA, you know, it's just unbelievable. And I would say that I didn't do it by myself. There is a village behind me. The trans community put me to where I am today. And for sure, a lot of my Filipino mothers, my Filipino heroes, my personal heroes really put me to the place where I am today. So I'm forever grateful. Oh, I'm crying.
Well, I mean, again, you're doing so much work. I'll say with the representation as a Filipina transgender woman, and by being a part of like MTV and then Lady Gaga Transgender Council, like what does it mean to be practically the face of, of that? And as well as like talking about mental health, like you're the face of, Filipina transgender women.
With me, I personally do not think that I am that, but I get that from people. It's an honor, to be called that and to be welcomed in spaces. But, every time I had to remind, my friends, my family, my followers that even though I'm able to do this, I want them to realize that this happening to me is an exception to the rule rather than it being the norm in the community. A lot of trans people are still getting killed. A lot of trans people are still not able to find employment just for the reasons of being a transgender person. So, while it's amazing to be recognized for the work that I'm doing for the community, it's sad, because I feel like whatever it is that I'm doing, I feel like it's not enough because like I still hear on the news every day, in Florida, in different states right now having anti-transgender laws. It's just very disheartening and scary. At the same time, um, I'm hopeful. And because I'm hopeful and again, like scared, because like with this kind of spotlight that I'm being put on, like comes with the people who do not agree with me. And I get a lot of messages that are very transphobic, telling me how um, I'm, just things that are unimaginable. That to hear from someone who do not know even know me, and especially like being called like, hey, you're sucking off like people's money, the taxpayers' money. I'm like, well, you don't know how much I'm making, so I'm just kidding. But yeah, like things like that. It's not. It's a symptom of what's currently happening in the trans community, not only here in the U.S. but in the world. But yeah, then again, I'm happy, I'm honored, but at the same time, still hopeful and fighting and scared.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously the work still continues especially with not the transgender community, the LGBTQIA plus community, just to have the visibility and still continually to fight for the rights.
Yeah.
And just so that we could just live our lives. We just want to live our lives. Just want to be
That's
us.
true.
That's all we want to do.
That's
Right?
true. Like I never cared about other people's business. Like even as a kid before, like I'm someone I'm happy with the company of my friends and family. That's it. Period. And I just want to have like someone in life. When I was in high school, I never really had like healthy relationships with people because I was led to think that like people like me do not really deserve that kind of love and stuff like that. It took me years and I'm still working on that, to be honest with you. So being able to be in this place now where I have a very loving and supportive husband who's been with me since day one, when I had nothing at all, and then today, like how yesterday I was crying to him. I'm telling him how grateful I am, like with having him in my life, like not all of us, not only in the trans community, but in the LGBTQIA plus community, not all of us are given that kind of opportunity to have a loving and supportive partner,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it means a lot.
I think whether if it's a supportive partner, but also just a supportive network, whether it's your friends or family, just making sure you have somebody that you could turn to is very, very
That's
important. There's always that, that term where your chosen family.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
those are the people that you could turn to just in case, because we know sometimes with the LGBTQIA plus community, it's unfortunate that parents do turn away their kids, but as hopefully like they're able to turn, whether it's to an uncle, a friend, a neighbor, or somebody that they could be safe with and be themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
As
And
you go, oh, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna add. That's a sad reality. It's also like in a lot of Filipino families. That's why
Mhm.
now I take this opportunity to plead to the parents of LGBT kids. When your kid comes out to you, it only means one thing. The reason why they're coming out to you is because they love you and they respect you as their parent. And I think, as an adult, I think the best way to respond to that kind of love and respect of them trusting you to come out to you is to embrace them and tell them, ask them what they need and be supportive, because it's not an easy thing to do, to come out. And so all
Mhm.
my friends who are still hiding in the closet, that's perfectly fine. You are valid and you are perfectly where you are perfect wherever you are in your life right now, you know? Yeah, you're as valid as we are here, like who are living our out authentic lives. But yeah, how I wish we don't have that barriers to not being able to come out because of fear and stuff like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's all.
So, as you go through your journey, obviously there's a lot of people that you're inspired by. Like, who are some of your like role models and inspirations?
Oh, I'm gonna mention this. Actually, I was taking note earlier. I was thinking about it. Actually, even when I was still in college, I looked up to Tita Che, to Jeppy Paraiso. I think he's watching right now, and I'm proud to call him my friend now. Yes, girl, we have celebrity friend.
You're
So Jeppy,
welcome. You're welcome.
yeah, I know. Thank you for connecting us, Jason. No, Jeppy. Kidding aside, Jeppy is one of my personal heroes. One of like the positive model and media representation for me was Jeppy. Like he's just really funny and just hilarious all the way. And I told myself, oh, I want to be like that. Like doing those things. Like it looked easy, I thought. And then when I got into this content creation kind of things, girl, I was gagging. It's a lot of work. So yeah, Jeppy, thank you. You don't know how much you touched my life. And then my community mother. In the trans community, we have this because a lot of us are being kicked out of our homes. So we find family in our community. So the mother that I have here in LA, who was also with me since day one when I arrived here. Mother Karina Samala. She's also the chairperson of the Transgender Advisory Council of Los
Mm.
Angeles and West Hollywood. She's also a Filipina immigrant here. So, Mother, I love you if you're watching. I know you will see this. I love you so much, Mother Karina. Yeah. So, those are my two personal heroes.
Oh, that's so great to hear. We're just about wrapping up. So, if our audience have any questions for Carla, type them in the chat right now. Place a comment, and we'll get to them. Um, are there,
Yeah. I'll be
are
happy
there
to answer any questions, to be honest.
Yeah, are there any upcoming projects that you're working on that you can talk about? Because I'm sure there's a lot that you can't talk about, but the ones that you
Yeah.
can talk about.
Okay, I'll talk about what I can talk about. Thank you, Jason. Um, So we have on June 9th, this coming Thursday, I'll be on the official Grizzly podcast hosted by my friend Irvin Scott. So I will be talking about also my journey in DC, with the things I'm doing, also like with what I'm doing also for public health here in LA. So for those of you who didn't know, I'm actually like I have a full-time job. Unfortunately, I still have
Fortunately, to have
to
a full time job.
yeah, I still have to work. So I'm in the public health field. So I'll
Mhm.
be talking about that on that podcast. And then on June 12th, the most awaited 2022 Los Angeles Pride Parade. So I'll be marching with the Keck School of Medicine, my school in USC. So I hope to see you all of there. But if you feel like it's unsafe, feel free to go to what Jason has mentioned earlier, like the event this coming Sunday. I'll probably go with Jason to the All Filipino Drag Show at Red Line in downtown LA after the parade. And then, I'm sorry, it's taking a lot. June 14th and 15th, that's going to be next week. I'll be at the Youth Mental Health Wellness Summit at the California Endowment. It's organized by the Office of the U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy. So I will be there. I will be speaking on public health initiatives on mental health, its intersectionality with, with community, with trauma, and with other things, that intersects with it. And then on June 14th, also that evening, I'll be having a panel discussion with Trans Clinic. So this Trans Clinic is a trans-specific and trans-owned telemedicine platform and clinic based in in San Francisco, California. And then so much. I hope I didn't
Pride
forget.
Month has got you busy.
I know. I was in a photo shoot earlier too. Okay. For July, I don't have anything. I'm having gender affirming surgeries on July, so I'm happy to announce that. And then August, potentially, we're not sure yet. On first week of August, I'm invited together with Jason here for the National Federation of Filipino American Associations conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll be a part of a panel to speak on LGBTQIA plus experiences, Filipino American experiences here in the US. And then there's more. I'm gonna tell everyone here who are watching, wait for more. Before this year ends, there's gonna be something big coming, and I'll be a part of it. So watch out. I can't announce it yet. Sorry, NBA.
So Giuseppe just asked, what's your favorite song that you will sing on June 18th at the SoCal Filipinos anniversary?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I wrote it here. Oh, yeah, I'll be there too. What? I'm going to sing?
I don't know. That's news to me, but I guess he wants you to be a part of the lineup for the entertainment. We'll
No,
make
no, no, no,
room.
no, no. I'm going to be there. I'm going to entertain everyone, but not like a proper, like, on the list. But yeah, are we gonna have karaoke there? I'm gonna be there. Kubo, Long Beach. We'll be there June 18th. SoCal Filipinos second year anniversary. We'll be there.
Yes,
I'll see you all there.
Admission is free. Just make sure you RSVP.
Yes, admission is free.
Yeah, so with all these events, I know you're very active on social media. So where can they find you?
Yes. So right now I'm still building it. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is this one. I don't know if my name is showing up in this platform, the live one. Yeah, at Miss.Carla Ibarra. That's my Instagram. So please feel free to follow me to see like all the happenings in my life. I have a lot of paid partnerships going on too. Oh, I love it. And all the free products and everything. So for people, by the way, let me shameless plug. For the Filipino-owned business who needs their message to be amplified, to be shared to the world, feel free to message me.
You're gonna get so many messages right now. Now that you said that,
there are already 2 Filipino-owned businesses who reached out to me. I'm not gonna announce it yet, but yeah, please feel free. I'll be happy to. I'm your Filipina girl. So yeah, Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. I don't have TikTok, if you're wondering.
Not yet. Well,
not
Carla,
yet.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for joining me and having a little kiki and talking about you and your accomplishments. And I know there's a lot to happen in the near future. I'm just so happy to call you my friend and happy to see your growth and on all the accomplishments that you have done so far. And I know there's more to come. So thank you for joining me.
And no, thank you, Jason, especially again for introducing me to Jeppy. I'm such a big fan, girl. Like, girl, I still can't believe we're friends. We're like texting each other now and stuff like that. Yeah, so thank you, Jason, for holding the space. Thank you, everyone who are watching. I'm looking forward to see you all on June 18th. I'll be there so that you can meet me on the flash.
Yes. So again, thank you to all our viewers who joined us and who tuned in. You can rewatch this. It's available on our YouTube, Facebook. We are going to air this on Kumu as well. So share it, share the stories. Very important to hear stories like Carla's, so that way we can continue to educate our community. And if you'd like to join the Bahaghari group, you are more than welcome to. Just like our own group at SoCal Filipinos, make sure you answer all the questions to be admitted. And hopefully, if you would like to join us and celebrate Pride, join us on June 12th. You could join Carla at the parade, and I will be at Red Line for the show, All Filipino Drag Queen Cast.
Yes, my sisters.
And it's gonna be hosted by Mona Stat, who's also a member, and I'll announce it here. Herself and as well as her drag daughter will be part of the entertainment at the SoCal Filipinos anniversary. So we are in for a treat. So other than that, SoCal Filipinos, Bahaghari, thank you for joining us and have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Happy Pride, everyone.
Happy
Thank you.
Pride.